here, what's going to happen is it's going to wait for my phone. Don't do this one. I've got one coming for you here. But what I got is I've got the app pulled up on my phone here, and it just looks kind of like this. It's just a smaller version of what you have up there. And I'm just going to choose our first question. We'll start with an easy one. So I'm sorry, I didn't do a very good job explaining it. You have a card. Everyone has a different card, and your card has 4 different letters on it. Whichever letter you think is the correct answer, you just put up top. So if you think A, that we placed the Generals on Friday night, you put that up there. I wouldn't. We just played them last Friday night, so I wouldn't go with that one. I'll give you a hint. And all I'm going to do is, and make sure you don't cover your finger up, or don't put your finger over any of it. So just kind of hold it up for me right now. Whatever you think, whoever you think we're playing.
This Friday night?
This Friday night.
Every Friday night.
Like 2 days from now.
If you read the board report, I think it's in
Is it?
Oh, now we really are challenged.
I don't know if it is. Which one's B?
Put it at the top.
And I'm just picking it up on my phone. Sometimes it works better. There we go.
Over there.
All right. Oh, Mark Turner's the other way. That's okay. All right, so now you can see actually who all has answered it. You can't see what they've answered. And I can see on here that we had 4 people get a correct answer, and we had 2 people who were not quite correct. And now the way that I've used this is a great tool that ties into intervention. At the end of the class period, if I just have maybe 2-3 questions that I think are the main questions, the main things we want to know that day, I ask it. You saw right there, I mean, I got it done in 30 seconds, 45 seconds at the most, and I can go through 2-3 questions. I'll put another question up here for you just for some history subject matter. By the way, George is who we play.
Right?
Yeah, George is who we play. I should mention that. All right, and we'll start with an easier history question. So, who was the American president elected in 1988? Elected in 1988. Now, some of us were 1 year old when this happened, so we don't remember maybe as well as others.
Or 3.
Or 3, yeah. See, there you go.
Oh boy, to work backwards. There
we go. And we can, again, see that the correct answer there was George Herbert Walker Bush was the president in 1988. And I'll go one more question for you just for a little bit of fun.
How do we do on that one?
We did 7 out of 8. 7 out of 8 on that one. Not bad. All right.
Who's going to be on intervention?
Well, I'll check it out later. All right, and the last question here. This group was created to illegally raise money to help re-elect President Nixon in 1972. So he feared he was going to lose for a little while, and he made this group to help him illegally raise money. And this is one we actually did use for our review. All right, and we did not do well on that one. CREEP, the Committee to Re-elect the President, was that group that was chosen for that. Now, to go along with that, I can also go back to reports here, and it should prepare a report, and I can look at the questions that we just asked. This was actually on my phone. I took a screenshot earlier, so this is what I see as you're answering it. This is one we did last term, so it tells me actually each student what they answered.
Jason Barwick got it right.
Jason Barwick, look at that. Nice. But yeah, that's basically how it works. And it's just been really handy. It's really fast. The kids like it. And I think the best part about it is, you know, when we review, for me at least, for four years of reviewing, it was, I'd ask a question and you have about 3 people who answer every single question until you say, all right, now you answer, and then we kind of have those dumbfounded looks. Kids know the answers, they just don't always want to share them. There's no way that they can't feel bad about missing a question here because no one knows they missed a question except themselves, and maybe then they'll be guilted into studying a little bit more. But that is Plickers. Do we have any questions on that or how that's used?
So you use that mainly for review? Like
Yeah, use it for review, just kind of a check for understanding at the end of the lesson is what I've been using.
Daily? Every day?
No, I can't say daily. I've used it for review both first 2 terms, and then I'll use it once, twice a week. Kind of depends on how much I think ahead to do the questions before class starts. But it's one of those that I can bank it. Right now I have this library with 10 pages of questions. So I have a lot more now that I've done it for a semester, and now I'm teaching U.S. history again, so I've got that bank I can go back to, and I can pull up a question. And these different colors just correspond with different classes, and I've got all these different classes over here.
So do you just have to coordinate?
Yeah, and then what I do is I just give them this card and I tell them to keep it with them, put it in the notebook, put it in their book, put it somewhere that they can keep. And so they just keep that the whole semester, and then, you know, they can.
But this card is assigned specifically.
Yes, that card's assigned to a
person.
specific person. That's why it was kind of fidgety when you came in. I set it up with everyone having a specific number, and that way, that's how I know, because everyone's shape is just a little bit different. Any other questions?
How long did it take you to set this up, like for tonight?
5 minutes, 10 minutes, not very long.
That's how easy it is.
Yeah, I mean, literally, Mr. DeZeo showed me at 8 o'clock. I used it at 10 o'clock that one day. I mean, it didn't take that long. I wrote questions up and I just kind of fired them off. It really didn't take that long. And, you know, and that was making 30 or 40 questions. If I was going to make 1 or 2 questions, I mean, I just had to type students' names in and type those questions. I mean, I could do that in 5 minutes. Like I said, this didn't take me very long at all. So, and then I'll just show you one other thing that I use. This is called Edmodo. Edmodo is something that I know several of our teachers here at the high school are using. Edmodo, I don't think I've really used it as well as I can use it just yet, but the big thing that I use it for is all students are in there. You can see I have 75 kids right now in my class for U.S. History for my 3 sections who have joined it. And the biggest thing I use it for is these folders. I have all of my notes, all of the information that we need is available to them right now. Now, it was kind of accidental what I stumbled into, but when a student's gone, this is perfect. I don't have to worry about printing notes off. I don't have to worry about thinking, okay, who was gone yesterday? They know if they're gone, the notes are already up there. They can go get them. Very often, I have kids come in with the notes before they've even talked to me. They know, okay, what we were doing today was on the board. I've got it printed off and they have it ready to go. There's communication that we can do with this. There's some posting. There's some other stuff that I'd like to look into using more. That's the primary way that I've used Edmodo right now. I think there's probably 5 to 8 other teachers that are using it at the high school right now. So it's something that I think it's really good for that. Everything's there. I mean, right now, if a student in my class wants to look and review for the term 1, the term 1 final, they can just come right down here and click on that, and there's the review for the final for the semester 1 test. They've got it right there. They can start studying for that thing that's a month and a half, 2 months away right now.
They can access it for anywhere they want.
Anywhere they want to. Yep, everything's anywhere. And then also if I lose stuff, it's right there for me too. So that's kind of nice as well. But like I said, there's more to it that I'd like to use, but that's kind of where I'm at with it right now.
And you notice the design of it's a lot like Facebook.
Yeah, it looks very similar to Facebook. I've actually done in the past. Where I had students make a fake book page, and then they posted their fake book page onto Edmodo, and then they could look at each other's pages and what they posted. So the website doesn't work the greatest, so I won't pull it up for you, but yeah. Any questions on any of that? All right. That's all I had for you.
We're continually trying to figure out different ways to formatively assess, use formative assessments in the classroom that are quick, outside of, and so everyone gets a response. That's the big thing, because you have, as Mr. Mason alluded to before, you have 2 or 3 people respond, and out of a class of 20 to 30 kids sitting in here, then you don't know who doesn't know, and now you do.
Yeah, and the only downside is it's multiple choice.
Right.
Sometimes you want to know more. So, are they guessing, or are they, do they actually know it? And it'd be nice if you could have some other way. But there's other things we can do for that, and this has worked really well for me so far.
What percentage do most of our high school teachers use some sort of electronic teaching in the classroom, or just sort of where they're at their comfort level with the technology yet?
Certain comfort level, we have extremes, I think,
Yeah.
but with all the smart boards, every smart board gets used every day. And so, and a lot of them have done the PowerPoints and different things like that to do their things. I don't know, Ken, what do you,
I would not say most. I would say
Yeah.
most are not comfortable using it. Would you agree with that, Mr. Mason?
Yeah, I think you're seeing more.
Yeah.
I know inside of my PLC group, we were actually just talking about it. We had shown this earlier, and I had another teacher who would actually use this to review for the term 2 test. So some, but no, I don't know if I'd say 50%.
they're all using something,
Yeah, it
but
depends
but some still use it as a glorified chalkboard.
Chalkboard, yeah.
And that's the comfort level for them. You know,
Right.
and how many people are adding in different technologies, that number is smaller. But you get a few and then you share ideas and you see how easy it is. Most of them take more time to get ready. You know, and that's the downside of it, because you need to do so much prep to get it ready, then you have to understand it and everything else. But like this one, that's why I wanted to point out, is the fact that the Plickers thing doesn't take very long to set up. It's a quick hitter. And so for us, as we're moving through things at 100 miles an hour, that's what tends to go with teachers a little bit. Do you agree, Mr. Rizzo?
Yeah.
I think
And I know Jared has used this over at the elementary school too, with 4th grade math Plickers, so kids enjoy it.
You know, it depends. You know, Mr. DeZeo uses the whiteboards. You know, the handheld whiteboards, and I think that over in middle school too. You know, for math, you show their answer. Boom. You know,
Not
they
only
can't.
their answer, but also their work.
Right.
The multiple choice doesn't work nearly as well for math.
Yeah.
I mean, it does. I could do it a little bit. I mean, I do one that's a Kahoot. It's a quiz game. It's kind of a, it's a
Yeah,
competition.
Mr. Fitzgerald, I
It's a
think.
competition.
Mr. Baumgart.
as well.
Mr.
Yeah.
Baumgart.
And Mr. Baumgart uses that as well. Yeah.
And so it's a lot like the Plickers, except you use your tablet. I can pull up a game if you want me to.
And so there's different things, and it's all about what you're comfortable with. But I see more and more even are printing off their PowerPoints and giving the notes to the kids so they can take them home with them and they can access them whenever and stuff like that. So
Are the ones that are maybe not as comfortable, is there ways, if they wanted to, do they have time available, is there ways they can learn how to use it more, or?
well, go ahead. What were you?
Well, I think with PLC, I mean, we've been able to do a little bit more of that.
Yeah.
But it's difficult to find the time to, I mean, we can show it in the library, we can show it in PLC, but it's just difficult for me to get in there to show them in class with students. And I think that's where the concern comes is, yeah, it's okay, they're doing it here with other teachers and with
Before they
friends.
can commit to it, they have to have some sense of level of confidence.
Right, well, and they have to feel
that's a barrier
confident.
in everything that we do, and confidence comes with time.
Because the worst thing that could happen is you're sitting there in front of a bunch of high school kids and this thing crashes. It
Yeah.
crashes and burns. You think you have it set up right, and all of a sudden it doesn't work right, and you're sitting there looking like a fool because you don't know what you're doing.
That was me at 4:35. I was trying to show something on Huddle and it wouldn't work. We kept freezing on results.
And you have one of those moments of frustration. You say, "To heck with it! I'm never doing this again," and then that thing's gone. And so, it does take time to get get different people comfortable with it. And
But by meeting on a weekly basis, instead of hearing about it once in September, and again in November, and again in April, you can have those constant conversations and try to plant those seeds and get it going.
And I took these back. I mean, it's thanks to you guys and to Mr. Spears. I took these back from the iTech conference that we went to last fall. And the day I got back was the day I walked into Mr. Mason's room. Said, "You got to check these out. They're just awesome." And so it was after that conference that you guys sent us to. So.
all right, thanks, Mr. Mason.
No problem. Thank you.